Oh my God, I missed you so much.
The Lagos air, thick with the scent of exhaust fumes, spices, and distant ocean spray, hit Ada like a physical embrace. After 10 years in London, the chaos was a familiar symphony, one she hadn't realized how much she missed. Her taxi, a battered yellow affair, weaved through the bustling streets, a blur of hawkers, gleaming skyscrapers and makeshift stalls. She was back, if only for the holidays, a successful architect returning to the vibrant, maddening heart of her origins. Her auntie's house in Sur-les-Rais was a haven of floral chintz and boisterous relatives, the welcoming cacophony of greetings, the rich aroma of jollof rice and pepper soup, wrapped around her, a balm to her soul. Yet beneath the joy, a subtle ache persisted. London had given her a career, but it had also left a hollow space where community and connection once thrived. She found herself observing, a curious outsider in a place that was inherently hers. One sweltering afternoon, while navigating the bustling Balogun market in search of traditional fabrics, her carefully curated sense of calm shattered. A sudden surge in the crowd, a frantic shout, and before she knew it, her handbag was gone, a blur of motion disappearing into the throng. Panic flared, hot and sharp. This wasn't the London she knew, where a lost item was a mere inconvenience. This was Lagos, and her passport, her connection to her carefully constructed life abroad, was in that bag. Just as despair threatened to overwhelm her, a calm voice cut through the din. "Are you all right?" She looked up to see him, tall, with eyes that held both amusement and concern, and a smile that seemed to understand the exact moment her world had tipped sideways. His name was Emeka, a local artist who had witnessed the snatching. Without a word, he took charge, his quiet authority a stark contrast to the surrounding pandemonium. He spoke rapid-fire Yoruba to bystanders, his presence commanding respect. The following days were a whirlwind of police reports and a surprisingly thorough, albeit slow, recovery effort. Emeka became her unexpected guide and confidant. He took her to hidden art galleries, introduced her to the pulsating rhythm of Live, Fela Kuti music, and shared stories of Lagos that painted the city not as a collection of challenges, but as a testament to resilience and vibrant spirit. With him, the chaos began to transform, revealing its hidden patterns and unique beauty. The constant hum of generators, once an irritation, became the city's heartbeat. The endless haggling at markets became a spirited dance of commerce. One evening, perched on a balcony overlooking the sparkling, sprawling city lights, the sounds of distant Afro-beat music drifting up to them, Emeka turned to her. "You know," he said, his voice soft, "you've been gone a long time, but you fit here, Ada. You belong." His words, simple yet profound, resonated deep within her. She realized with a jolt that the ache she carried wasn't just for community, but for a connection to herself that had been muted abroad. The chaos that had once felt threatening now felt like a vibrant tapestry, and Emeka, with his steady gaze and unwavering kindness, was a thread woven through its very core. They found themselves drawn closer, a silent understanding passing between them, a love blooming amidst the unlikely backdrop of a holiday mishap. Her flight back to London loomed, a stark reminder of the two worlds she now inhabited. The passport had been recovered, a small victory, but the bigger prize was the rediscovery of her heart. As she stood at the airport, the familiar ache returned, but this time it was laced with a new, potent emotion. "I'll come back," she promised Emeka, her voice thick with emotion. He simply smiled, that same knowing smile. I know. The plane ascended, carrying her away from the vibrant chaos, the pulsating rhythm. And the man who had shown her that home wasn't just a place on a map, but a feeling, a connection, a love found in the most unexpected of circumstances. As the city lights twinkled below, a question hung in the air. Could she truly leave this behind? Or had Lagos and Emeka irrevocably claimed a piece of her soul, pulling her towards a future she hadn't dared to imagine? London's grey January sky felt like a weight pressing down on Ada's chest as she stepped off the Heathrow Express. The orderly queues, the muted conversations, the pristine underground platforms, everything that had once spelled sophistication now felt sterile, drained of color. Her Canary Wharf apartment, with its floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the Thames, welcomed her back with the same cool efficiency she'd once prized. But something had shifted. The silence that had once been peaceful now felt hollow. The view of London's skyline, once inspiring, paled beside her memory of Lagos sprawling endlessly under a painted sunset sky. Work resumed with its familiar rhythm. The architectural firm where she was a senior partner buzzed with the energy of new projects, a sustainable housing development in Camden, a cultural centre in Birmingham. Her colleagues welcomed her back with polite inquiries about her holiday, expecting stories of relaxation and family time. Instead, Ada found herself describing the organized chaos of Balogun Market, the unexpected kindness of strangers, the way music seemed to pulse from every corner. Sounds intense, her colleague James said with a bemused smile, clearly not understanding the light in her eyes. The weeks blurred together, marked by video calls that stretched late into Lagos evenings. Emeka would prop his laptop against easels in his studio, showing her his latest paintings, vibrant canvases that seemed to capture the very essence of the city she couldn't stop thinking about. Sometimes she'd catch glimpses of Lagos through his window. Children playing football in dusty streets, women balancing impossible loads on their heads with enviable grace, the eternal dance of commerce and community. The Tate wants to feature some emerging African artists, she found herself saying during one late-night call. I could recommend you. Emeka's laugh was warm. Ada, I don't paint to escape Lagos. I paint to celebrate it. His question haunted her. Would she make sense in Lagos? Or was she destined to exist in this liminal space, belonging fully to neither world? The answer began to crystallize during a project meeting in March. The firm had been commissioned to design a cultural exchange center, a space meant to bridge communities. As Ada presented her initial concepts, clean lines, minimal aesthetics, the kind of modern architecture that won awards, she felt a profound disconnect. That night, she sketched by lamplight, her hand moving almost independently. What emerged wasn't the stark modernity of her professional work, but something organic, something that breathed, courtyards that echoed the communal spaces of Lagos compounds, walkways that meandered like market pathways, walls designed to support the kind of vibrant murals Emeka painted. This is different, her partner David observed when she presented the new designs. More alive somehow. What inspired this? Ada looked at the drawings spread across the conference table, seeing them as if for the first time. Home, she said simply. That weekend she called her aunt in Surulere. Through the static of the international line she could hear the familiar sounds of Lagos life. Honking horns, children's laughter, the call of street vendors. Auntie, I've been thinking about coming back, not just visiting, actually coming back. The pause was long. Ada, my dear, you built such a good life there. Are you sure? I'm sure I'm not sure. Ada laughed. But I'm also sure that I can't keep living with one foot in each world." Her aunt's voice was knowing when she replied, "Ah, and this has nothing to do with that nice young man you've been calling every day?" Ada felt heat rise to her cheeks. Maybe it has everything to do with him. The decision, once spoken aloud, felt both terrifying and inevitable. She began researching opportunities. Sustainable architecture was desperately needed in Lagos, and her London experience would be valuable. The irony wasn't lost on her. She'd spent 10 years acquiring skills that could best serve the place she'd left behind. In May, she took extended leave and boarded a flight to Lagos. This time, the chaos of arrival felt different. Not overwhelming, but welcoming. The heat wrapped around her like an old friend's embrace. Emeka met her at the airport, and the moment she saw his smile, she knew she was making the right choice. Not because of him, though his presence made everything feel possible, but because of the immediate sense of rightness that settled over her like coming up for air after being underwater too long. "Welcome home," he said, and this time the words didn't feel complicated. As their taxi wove through the familiar-unfamiliar streets of Lagos, Ada watched the city with new eyes. She saw challenges, yes, but also opportunities. She saw a place where her skills could make a real difference, where architecture could serve community in ways that London's exclusive developments never could. "I have an idea for a community centre," she told Emeka as they sat in traffic, watching children play between the cars at a red light. "Something that brings art and education together. Spaces that work with the climate instead of fighting it. Would you be interested in collaborating?" His eyes lit up with the same intensity she'd seen when he painted. "Ada, I think you're home." As the sun set over Lagos, painting the sky in shades of orange and gold that would make any London sunset seem pale by comparison, Ada felt the last of her uncertainty dissolve. She wasn't choosing between two worlds anymore. She was choosing to build a bridge between them, to create something new from everything she'd learned and everyone she'd become. The chaos of Lagos traffic hummed around them, punctuated by music from a dozen different sources, and Ada realized she'd found her rhythm at last. Home wasn't just a place or a feeling. It was a choice, made new each day, to belong where your heart could grow largest. In her purse, her return ticket to London sat unchanged. But Ada already knew she wouldn't be using it.